In 2015, community leaders and residents came together to better their community. With their attention on two specific neighborhoods, Emma and Beechwood, focus groups on housing, education, wellness, and economic development were conducted to better understand the needs of these neighborhoods.
The feeder pattern between School 33 and East High School exists in order to create an educational pathway within the Beechwood and the Emma neighborhoods. It allows for a seamless transition from elementary school into the lower school at East High School, and then children will have the opportunity to continue on at the upper school at East High School.
At East, I believe we have a balanced perspective. We offer both a rigorous academic program where students have access to advanced placement courses and college level courses by the time they're seniors, as well as career technical education courses. Students can take courses in arts and music and culinary, optics, and how to become a teacher in the future if they choose. And so for parents making that critical choice, I encourage them to look at all the options that schools have to offer, but to really consider attending a school within their community.
Good morning, this is LaQuanda calling from Home Leasing. May I speak with Diane, please?
Speaking.
Congratulations, Diane. You were chosen in the lottery on Monday. How do you feel?
Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I thought about that all day yesterday. I sure did. I'm so glad you called. I was wondering, was I going to be chosen?
Yes,
I grew up on Breck Street, so it's going to be a circle for me.
We have a partnership with East High School. We're preparing our students to enter the next level of their educational journey. We have a feeder pattern. In our feeder pattern in this case, we're preparing our elementary students to enter the next tier level of their education. And specifically for us, it would be our fifth graders going into sixth grade. It is a wonderful concept where parents can have their children enter our school at the pre-K level, and those are 3 and 4 year olds, and continue in our school up to grade 5, and parents can make the choice to have their children go to East High School.
So when I first started as the executive director of Connected Communities, I was the only employee. And I wanted to hear the voices of the residents right away. So I did my very first canvassing within the first few months of being here. And I came across this family that was quite intriguing to me. It was 3 generations of African American women that were sitting on a porch. It was midday on a Friday afternoon, and I really pride myself on being able to go from the boardroom to the block. But for whatever reason, I wasn't able to engage these women. And at some point, I kind of, in a very casual way, said to the women, help a sister out. Tell me what's going on. We were canvassing, trying to get an understanding of the type of businesses and services that residents wanted to see in the community. And it was the youngest of the 3 generations that spoke up. And this young woman said to me, "What difference does it make? No one cares what we think anyway." That was a real pivotal moment for me in this work, mostly because it was the youngest of the 3 generations. And the 2 older women didn't stop this young woman and say to her, "No, young woman, your voice does matter. No, people do care what you think." And that told me that there had been generations of people living in this community that felt overlooked, that felt like they were not heard. And it was our responsibility to ensure that their voices were leveraged and that they knew their voices mattered.
Being an IRA has been very fulfilling. I'm able to help people with resources, connect them with things that they need, helping people get food, helping people pay back rent when we was going through the COVID epidemic, and even helping landlords fix up their properties. So it really inspired people to move forward in life and not be so bounded down and withdrawn. And it kind of gave them some enlightening to let them know that there's people out there that care and there are resources available to them. Also, being an IRA has really changed my life because I was home on disability since 2004, and I was kind of living like a hermit. I only came out when necessary, go to the grocery store or things like that. And becoming an IRA has brought me out of that cocoon. It has helped me live life and get up, get dressed every day, do my makeup, meet people, and make people feel good about themselves and improve some conditions in their lives. Even my children are happy that I got this position because they see me out of the house and living life again and being active in the community, which I love to help people. So this was like the perfect position for me. It was an enlightening experience because the neighbors were really grateful that we were concerned and wanted their input on what they wanted to see on the vacant lots. Some people wanted to see affordable housing. Most people did want to see affordable housing. Some wanted to see playgrounds. Some wanted to see gardens because some currently have been growing their own gardens adjacent to their house on the vacant lots. So it was definitely a fulfilling experience that neighbors were really happy that we were concerned about what they wanted to see on those lots.
Our top story tonight, World Health officials declare the coronavirus a global health emergency.
Local hospitals are now beginning to test for the COVID-19 coronavirus.
It was really important to still connect and hear from residents during the pandemic because people were in need. We had to reach people and see where their priorities had shifted and what they needed assistance and support with. we had to come up with something to do. And what we came up with was the neighborhood pop-ups. This enabled us to be masked and stay safe, maintain distance, but also talk with residents and see where their heads and priorities were at. The neighborhood pop-ups are a simple concept. We carried over our idea of meeting people where they were, but switched it to outside. The biggest impacts from pop-ups that we've carried over are, one, we're really able to reach a different demographic of people. People that we meet during pop-ups might not be the same individuals that go to events or are plugged into our activities already. So we're able to constantly expand and meet new people from the neighborhood. Two, pop-ups allowed us to think outside the box for community engagement. So instead of just relying on when organizations were holding events or when we were holding events, we were able to set a schedule and actually go out in the neighborhood multiple times on a weekly, regular basis. And three, it allowed us to really expand the concept of meeting people where they are. We had vaccine pop-ups modeled off of the neighborhood pop-up initiative, where we were able to just bring vaccine mobiles into the community in a similar pop-up style and just have people come and get vaccinated. We're hoping to continue doing that with other businesses and resources so that people don't have to go physically to another location or know about an event that's happening to be able to attend and have access to those services.
I had a rough experience with the EPI program until I went to Connected Communities. Mrs. Smith made things more understandable, really breaking things down for me. She kept me up to date with what I will be receiving and told me about other programs I can participate in. I was extremely grateful. I went back to her for something else outside of the EPI program, and rather than shooing me away, she was super open to helping. She made me feel like I could refer people to her. She clearly cares and is extremely informative. If I had the opportunity to work with her, I would. Whenever I hear about people in the area needing help, I always refer them to Connected Communities.
Neighborhood Impact Survey is a tool and a process that we use to gauge the residents' perceptions in line with the work that we started and that we're doing in the community. We have 3 neighborhood impact goals. They are to stabilize housing, to improve neighborhood image, and to increase resident confidence. And so we launched the survey this spring as a pilot to get a baseline of the residents' perception to help guide us in our work as we continue working in the neighborhood against these goals.
So my connection to the neighborhood hub actually goes all the way back to when I first met LaShunda. I moved here to Rochester from Buffalo, New York, and met LaShunda through Holly Budd, who was the first chair of the board for Connected Communities. And I had worked for a number of years in Buffalo developing a neighborhood hub for the university I worked for there. And so in my role at Fisher, we wanted to extend our efforts to support the developments in the Emma Beechwood neighborhood through our relationship with Connected Communities. And one of the key advantages being at Fisher is that we also have nursing and pharmacy programs. So not only could we provide educational support, tutoring services, we could provide health services if that was going to be possible. And we have a business school, so for residents who are interested in starting their own business, we could also provide sort of business advice for people who wanted to do startups. So I knew that as a university close to the neighborhoods, we could provide a number of services, for free as volunteer service work to support the work, but we needed a building. And we talked for a long time about where that would be. We toured the neighborhood. Holly Bud brought us to various sites. We talked about financing, but it was really very challenging and difficult to find the right place in order to have a hub that would serve the community. And so now that we're at this point where we're getting a building that can provide those services, it's really an exciting time.
Looking to the future and building on the work we've done in the housing, education, and health and wellness pillar, we are now in a position to activate our economic development pillar. Through an 8-parcel acquisition, we will launch the Greenwood Project. The Greenwood Project is radical and it's innovative. It can change how economists and local governments see and use neighborhoods to address some of our country's most challenging problems related to economic inequality. And we have a front row seat to see it happen.